how you do anything is how you do everything, right? I am a tenacious, I love to check things off my to-do list person, right? I follow through. I like to complete tasks. And I was thinking about it on this walk that all the wrong guys came up to me last night. Not bad guys. It's just, for me, I like to put myself out there, and I want to network for business purposes and also for social. I want to meet like-minded girlfriends and meet guys that actually want to date, right? And you end up having a lot of misses, and that's can't stop you. And I was walking back to my truck last night because basically what I did, and I'm going to do a podcast about this too, so we'll stay tuned for that. This is moving meditations with Morgan here, and then I'll do a podcast about it as well, like I said. But anyway, I was walking back to my truck because I went to this social thing in Chicago where a bunch of folks were just getting together, hanging out, and business professional, all kinds of different people. And the first guy that I end up chatting with, and he was telling me about this situation he had with an ex-girlfriend, and I was like, oh my God, like, so red flag city, like, why would you date someone like that, And so I ended up almost therapizing this guy. And then I left and I went to this great restaurant that I love, and I wanted something to eat. And so I'm sitting there and I'm watching people, and I'm watching how humans are trying to interact and or attract and interact in this like dating setting, because you can just tell. There's one guy in particular, he was good looking, and 3 different women came up to him and tried to engage him, even though he was talking to his guy friend, and they were pretty engrossed in conversation, and these women would come up and interrupt, and then I was watching like some other guys peacock, and then there was some guy that came over to me, is he socially awkward, and for almost the second word out of his mouth was that he was a surgeon, like I was going to be impressed. And finally I just took him by the shoulders and I said, I am here to relax, go mingle, and then I turned around and he was gone. Thank God, bless his heart, he moved around. And I was walking back to my truck reflecting, and I thought, you got to keep putting yourself out there, because even if you don't meet your next best girlfriend or the next guy you're going to date, you just have the interactions. If nothing else, it's a good story. And just interacting with other humans feels good. We are social primates, basically. We want to connect. We are part of a social structure. And it's, the popo. Hi there. That's the first time I've seen one on the trail before. Which makes me feel safer or not, because hello. Anyway, what was I saying? I was disappointed as I was walking back to my truck in some respects, because I've met people that I have vibes with and chemistry with, and it's like you really enjoy the time and you want to keep talking and interacting, and then a lot of other times, the majority of the other times, you're like, yeah, I can't wait to get away from this person. I can't get away fast enough. So, and it's all just part of the whole experience. You have to keep going. You have to keep putting yourself out there, because, 97% of the time it's a miss. All the rest of the time it's a good story. And I used to work with this gal when I worked at this nonprofit organization for families in the midst of child protection cases, and the families would come to the facility and do supervised visitation. I would be the supervisor, and I had to take notes and help with family dynamics and coaching and whatever. And on the weekends, I would come back from the weekend, and the one gal I worked with, she'd be like, so, Tell me everything. What did you do this weekend? Because I always had stories, and I've always wanted to accumulate stories in my life, and so I've done a great job of that. And so I had to, last night, like I said, I was walking back to my truck feeling like kind of like blah, meh, because I didn't meet anyone that was stimulating to me intellectually or chemistry-wise, and at the same time, it was delightful watching the human interactions and realizing that 97% of the time it's a miss, and you keep going anyway, because it's like anything that's like in terms of success. I was just talking to someone yesterday, and she was saying that that the one lady from the Shark Tank is like the difference between people who are successful and the ones that fail. Sometimes it really just comes down to the people that kept going, and I am inspired by girlfriends of mine and people that continue to put themselves out there and take the chances, and because it's easy to get discouraged, and it's just us being humans. There's millions of us. I thought about that. It's like there are millions of people just in Chicago alone that you can run into and create a story, and have a little interaction and whatever it is. Keep going. It's like Dory says in Finding Nemo, just keep swimming, right? There's not a lot of people out on this trail today, probably because, see this guy, he's giving her. There you go, buddy. There's some of us brave people out here that love 95 and humid. Okay, it's probably not 95, I wish. I love this kind of weather. It is a gorgeous day. I wish it would last forever. And it's already August, so fall is coming. And so I'm just out enjoying this beautiful day, perfect blue sky, the breeze. I love a breeze. The only thing that would be better right now is if I was on the ocean. Otherwise, I'm pretty darn grateful. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Go decide what you're going to be tenacious about, that you're going to follow through on, that you're going to keep going even though it's disappointing most of the time. There's always a win in there somewhere, right? All right, so keep going. Make sure you comment, share this video with somebody you care about. Make sure you subscribed, and I'll see you next time.